Neuroscientists say repeating the same day just 30 times can permanently rewire your sense of reality. She did it 999 times. For 3 years, I was the only other person trapped in her loop, forced to watch her die, restart, and chase a man who never even knew her name. What kind of love makes someone shatter time itself? And why was I the one paying the price for her obsession? Stay till the end. You won't see the ending coming. The coffee on the counter had gone cold again. Ethan watched the steam stop rising about 40 minutes ago, somewhere between the third time Olivia checked her phone and the moment she stopped pretending she was checking it for him. The kitchen smelled like the cinnamon candle she lit every Sunday, the one she said reminded her of her mother's house. He hated that candle. He had never told her so. She was standing by the window in his shirt, the gray one with the soft collar, her hair still damp from the shower, and her thumb was moving across the screen the way it moved when she was reading something carefully. Not scrolling. Reading. "You want eggs?" he asked. Eggs. I'm making some. Oh, no. Thanks. She didn't look up. He cracked 2 anyway. The pan hissed. Outside, a gray rain had started against the glass, the kind that didn't fall so much as smear, and the light in the apartment had that flat, washed quality that made everything look slightly underwater. He used to love this kind of morning. The quiet of it. Her bare feet on the wood floor. The way she'd come up behind him at the stove and rest her chin on his shoulder and say nothing, because nothing was what they had then, and nothing had been enough. Her phone buzzed. He didn't turn. He could feel her shoulders move. "Adam's having a bad week," she said, soft, almost to herself. He's been in a weird place. He plated the eggs. He sat down. He poured coffee into a clean cup because the one she'd made him 40 minutes ago was a film of brown skin now, congealed at the edges. He drank it anyway. It tasted like pennies. She finally turned. Smiled at him. The smile a hostess gives a guest she has somewhere to be away from. "I think I'm going to go see him. Now."
Yeah.
He sounded off. He nodded slowly. He had this thing he did, where he would count the seconds between her saying she was leaving and the door actually closing. It used to be a long time. Sometimes 10, 15 minutes, kissing him at the door, fixing his collar, asking what time he'd be home. Lately it was 3. Sometimes 2. She kissed the top of his head on the way out. Her hair smelled like rain. The door closed. He sat there with the eggs. He didn't eat them. He told himself that this was a thing married people did. Friends in trouble. Old friends. Childhood friends. The kind you grew up next door to, climbed trees with, lost your first tooth in front of. Adam was that kind of friend. He'd known her longer than Ethan had known her, longer than anyone. Of course she'd go. Of course she'd answer the phone. But she'd been answering it more, lately. She'd been disappearing into rooms with it. She'd come back from those rooms looking, sometimes, like she'd been crying. Sometimes like she'd been somewhere else entirely, somewhere far enough that she had to remember which apartment was hers, which mug, which man. He scraped the eggs into the trash. He sat back down at the empty table. He did not cry. He did not call her. He did not pick up his phone to text her something passive-aggressive that he'd regret. He just sat there, in his own kitchen, in the gray underwater light, and listened to the rain hit the window in slow, heavy strokes, and felt something in his chest go very still. Like a door closing somewhere far inside him. Quiet. Final. And somewhere across the city, in a different apartment, he didn't know it yet, but Olivia was already kneeling beside Adam's bed, her hand pressed flat to his chest, whispering the same 3 words she had whispered 938 times before. It started, the next time, with the radio. He was driving home from work. A Tuesday. The sky had that bruised look that meant snow before nightfall, and the heater in his car had been on the fritz again, blowing cold air with a faint metal smell, and the radio was playing a song he hadn't heard since college, some forgettable indie track about a girl on a bridge. And he reached to change the station and his hand stopped. Because he had reached for that exact knob, at that exact second, before. He knew it the way you know a step is there in the dark. Not memory exactly. Something underneath memory. His fingers had been here. Right here. The light had been red just like this. The car next to him, a silver SUV with a dented bumper, had been there, and the woman driving it had been on her phone, and she would, in about 4 seconds, look up and mouth sorry through the window because she'd almost rolled into him. The light turned green. The woman looked up. She mouthed sorry. Ethan's hand was still on the radio knob. He drove the rest of the way home very slowly. He didn't tell Olivia. She wasn't there to tell. He told himself déjà vu. He told himself sleep. He told himself the brain misfires sometimes, that there's a part of the mind that runs a fraction of a second behind itself, and when the gap closes wrong you get the feeling of a moment doubled. Then it happened again on Thursday. A man dropped a bag of oranges in the elevator. One rolled toward Ethan's foot. He bent before it touched him. He knew. He knew the bag would split, he knew which orange would roll, he knew the man would say thanks, man in that particular flat way, and he knew the elevator would smell faintly of citrus oil all the way to his floor. That night he sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, his shoes still on, while Olivia slept. Her breathing was soft and even. Her hair was spread on the pillow like dark water. He looked at her face, the little crease between her brows that never quite went away, and thought about how easy it would be to wake her, to ask, "Do you ever feel like time is?" He didn't wake her. He lay down. He stared at the ceiling. He listened to her breathe. And he thought, very quietly, something is wrong with me. The first time he died, it was in February. He didn't know that's what was happening. It happened so fast, there wasn't time to know. He was crossing the avenue near the subway station, the one with the broken signal that flashed red on green, and he had his earbuds in, and he was thinking about something Olivia had said the night before, something about being tired, being so tired, in a voice that didn't belong to her, and then the world went white. There was a sound. Not loud. A short, dull, mechanical sound, like a book slamming shut. Then nothing. Then his hand was on the radio knob again. The silver SUV was next to him. The dent in the bumper. The woman on her phone. The light was red. He didn't move. He didn't reach for the knob. He didn't breathe. He sat with his hands gripping the wheel at 10 and 2 like a man learning to drive, and he stared straight ahead, and he felt, for the first time in his life, the specific cold weight of a thing he could not explain. The light turned green. He drove home. He did not go through the avenue with the broken signal. He took the long way. When he got home, Olivia was on the couch. She was crying, very quietly, with her hand over her mouth. She didn't see him come in. He stood in the doorway with his coat still on, watching her shoulders shake, and he didn't speak. "Adam," he said finally. She nodded without looking at him. "Is he?" "He's fine," she said. "He's fine now." She wiped her face with the heel of her hand. She smiled at him, that hostess smile, and got up, and went to the kitchen, and asked if he wanted tea. He did not ask her why she was crying if Adam was fine. He did not ask her how she knew. Something in him had begun, very slowly, to listen. He started keeping a notebook. He didn't tell her. He kept it in the bottom of his work bag, behind the laptop, behind the cable case, behind everything. A small black notebook with a cheap elastic strap. He wrote in pencil because pencil could be erased, and he didn't trust the future yet. He wrote down the things he knew before they happened. Small things at first. The waitress would mix up his order. The barista would call him sir twice. The dog 2 doors down would bark exactly 9 times before its owner shouted at it. He stopped being surprised when he was right. He started being surprised when he was wrong, and he was wrong less and less. Then he started writing down Olivia. The number of times she said Adam's name in a week. The mornings she came home with dirt on the cuffs of her jeans, like she'd knelt somewhere. The way her left hand sometimes shook for an hour after she came back from seeing him, as though some small, precise muscle in it had been overworked. The way her eyes, and this was the part that frightened him, sometimes did not seem to be the same age as her face. He was at the kitchen table one night, drawing a crooked line down a page of his notebook, when she came up behind him. "What's that?" He closed the book. Smooth, casual. He had practiced. Work. At 10 at night? Quarterly thing. She rested her chin on his shoulder, the way she used to. He could smell her shampoo. He could smell, underneath it, something he had never been able to name, a thinness, like the air at altitude, like a place where there wasn't quite enough of something. "You've been distant," she said. He almost laughed. "I've been tired." She kissed his temple. She went to bed. He sat there with his hand flat on the closed notebook for a long time. He didn't go to bed for hours. The envelope came on a Saturday. It was thick, cream-colored, with no return address, and it had been pushed under his front door rather than left in the mailbox. He found it when he came back from the bodega with a carton of eggs. The paper was warm, like someone had been holding it. Olivia was in the shower. He could hear the pipes ticking. He opened the envelope at the kitchen table. Inside was a single sheet. On the sheet, in small, neat, slightly old-fashioned handwriting, was this: "You are the 7th. You are not supposed to remember. If you are reading this, the cycle has bent around you. Do not tell her. Do not tell him. Find me. M." There was no address. No phone number. No name beyond the initial. He read it 3 times. He folded it. He folded it again. He put it inside the notebook, behind the elastic, and he put the notebook back in the bottom of his bag. He went and washed an egg carton's worth of dishes that didn't need washing. He ran water over his hands until they were red. The shower stopped. Olivia came out in a towel, her hair dripping, smiling at him like nothing in the world was wrong, and asked if he wanted to order Thai. "Sure," he said. He smiled back. He felt the smile arrive on his face from somewhere very far away, like a package he hadn't ordered. The 7th, he kept thinking, all night, lying next to her in the dark. 7th of what? 7th of who? He did not sleep. He found him 3 weeks later, in a coffee shop he had walked past every day for 2 years and never gone into. She was older than he expected. 60, maybe. White hair pulled back, glasses on a chain, a scarf the color of old red wine wrapped twice around her throat. She was reading a book in a language he didn't recognize, and she didn't look up when he sat down across from her, only said, "You took your time." "How did you?" "I felt you come in." She turned a page. "You leak." "I leak." "Most of you don't. The ones she pulls in. But you've been loose since the first slip. I've been waiting for the cycle to put you in front of me." He stared at her. "I don't understand anything you just said." "No," she said gently. "You wouldn't." She marked her page with a thin red ribbon. She closed the book. She looked at him for the first time, and her eyes were the gray of weather over a sea, and very tired. "What do you know about your wife?" she asked. He opened his mouth. He closed it. She nodded as if he'd answered. "Listen carefully," she said. "I'll only say this once." The coffee shop was small. The radiator ticked. The smell of burnt sugar from a tray of caramelized croissants hung in the air, and through the foggy front window the street outside was a smear of moving coats and umbrellas, and Ethan sat with his hands flat on the table and listened to a woman he had never met describe his life. Olivia, M said, had been born with something that ran in certain bloodlines, a thinness in the membrane between what is and what could have been. Some people born with it never noticed. Some used it once and never again. A very few learned to fold it. Olivia had folded hers very young, Em said. 10 years old. The first time was an accident, a boy across the street, a truck, a moment that should have ended everything. She had reached, and the world had reached back, and the truck had not happened. The boy was Adam. She loved him, Em said. Children love. You know how. With everything. And then he kept almost dying. He has the kind of life that does that. Some people are like lightning rods. Some people draw the world's edges toward them. She took a sip of her coffee. She has spent the last 20 years pulling him back from those edges. You understand? How many times? She has stopped counting. How many? Em looked at him. There was no cruelty in her face. Only a long, soft pity. 991, she said. When she met you, she was at 643. She didn't mean to fall in love with you. She thought she was past that. She thought the gift had taken too much. It takes pieces, Em said. Each time she folds. A memory. A taste. A color. A name. The first time she wound back for you, by accident, she lost the smell of her grandmother's perfume. She has not smelled it since. She does not remember she has lost it. He could not speak. You were never the man she was saving, Em said quietly. You were the man she was holding on to. Until Adam needed her again. And he always does. The radiator ticked. He found, distantly, that his hand was shaking. Why are you telling me this? Em was quiet for a long moment. She reached into the breast pocket of her coat and brought out a small object and set it on the table between them. It was a coin. Old. Bronze. With a face on it he didn't recognize. Because you are loose in the cycle, she said. She is wearing thin, Ethan. The next time she folds, it may be the last time. And if it is the last time, and you are inside it when it closes. She did not finish the sentence. She did not have to. He looked down at the coin. What do I do? That, she said, is the only question I cannot answer for you. He put the coin in his pocket. He walked home in the rain. He didn't go inside right away. He stood in the lobby of his own building, dripping on the marble, and stared at the elevator buttons, and thought about every meal he had eaten alone, every smile he had received like a stranger receiving correct change, every cold cup of coffee, every door that had closed in 3 seconds instead of 15. He thought, she has been somewhere else our whole marriage. He thought, no, she has been in our marriage 991 times. Just not with me. He took the elevator up. He let himself in. Olivia was on the couch with a glass of wine, laughing at something on her phone. She looked up. Her face went soft when she saw him. You're soaked, she said. Where have you been? Walking. In this? In this. She patted the couch beside her. He sat down. She put her head on his shoulder. She smelled like wine and the cinnamon candle and that thin altitude smell he had never been able to name. He let her stay there. He did not put his arm around her. He looked at the wall above the television, where there was a photograph of the two of them on a beach the summer before they were married, and he tried to remember the day it was taken. He could not. He could not remember if it had been hot or cold. He could not remember what they had eaten. He could not remember the name of the town. He wondered, then, for the first time, how many of his memories were actually his. Adam called the next night. Ethan picked up. He had never picked up Adam's calls before, they came on Olivia's phone, always, but his own phone rang now, an unknown number, and something in him knew before he answered. Ethan. Adam. A pause. The line had that grainy, edge of a tunnel quality of a man calling from somewhere he didn't want to be. She told you, Adam said. Someone did. A long breath out. Almost a laugh. Of course she didn't. She wouldn't. She never does. How many of them have there been? Like me. 6. What happened to them? Another pause. Ethan watched the radiator across the room. The hiss of it. The rain against the glass. They left, Adam said. Eventually. Once they figured it out. Did she remember them after they left? A long silence. No, Adam said. She didn't. Ethan closed his eyes. He did not feel rage, exactly. Rage was hot. This was the other thing, the cold one. It started at the base of his spine and moved up, slow and clean, and settled in the back of his throat like a small, sharp coin. Why are you calling me? He said. Because she's going to do it again. Do what? What she does. I'm in something. Bad. There's a man. There's a thing I owe. He's coming for me on Thursday and she knows and she's going to fold it. And it's bad this time, Ethan. It's the worst one. She's going to lose something she can't lose. And you'll be inside it. You'll be inside it with us. Why are you telling me? Because you can stop her. Why would I stop her? A silence so long Ethan thought the line had dropped. Because if you don't, Adam said, you'll be the piece she pays. Not me. Not her. You. That's how it's going to balance. I've been around this long enough to feel it. She's pulled too thin. The next fold needs a body. And it isn't going to be hers. And it isn't going to be mine. Ethan looked at the rain. Why don't you just die, Adam, he said. Very quietly. Almost kindly. Adam laughed once, low and bitter and not surprised. Believe me, he said. I've wondered. Ethan hung up. He sat in the dark for a long time. He thought about the 6 men before him. 6 men who had loved her. 6 men who had been forgotten. He thought about the smell of her grandmother's perfume that she would never smell again. He thought about the photograph on the beach. He thought, I am not going to be the 7th. And then he thought, but I am not going to let her die either. And somewhere in the cold dark space between those 2 sentences, Ethan made a plan. The plan was not loud. The plan was a list, written in pencil, in the back of the notebook. It had 3 items. He met Em on Wednesday. The coffee shop was the same. Her scarf was the same. The book was different. Thursday, he said. I know. Tell me how to fold without her. Em looked at him for a long time. The look was not approval. It was not disapproval either. It was the look of someone watching a man walk into a river to retrieve something he had thrown away himself. You can't, she said. Then tell me how to be inside her fold and stay awake. Why? Because if I'm awake I can move. And if I can move I can do the thing she's about to do, instead of her doing it. And if I do the thing instead of her, then it's my piece that pays. Not hers. You are not built for the fold, Em said. You will not survive what she would survive. You would lose more than a smell, Ethan. You would lose yourself. You would walk out of it not knowing your own name. How do I stay awake? Ethan. How? She closed her book. She told him. It was a small thing. A coin in the mouth. The old bronze coin. The face of a god he had never heard of pressed against the soft inside of his cheek. It would, she said, anchor him. Not protect him. Anchor him. He would feel everything. He would remember everything. He would be conscious through all of it. That was the cost of the anchor, the awareness. Most of the people Olivia pulled along were carried like sleepers in a current. He would be carried with his eyes open. Will I come out? He asked. That depends, she said, on what you choose to do once you are in. She slid the coin across the table to him. He took it. It was warm. It had been in her pocket. He said. Yes. Why are you helping me? She looked at him, and for the first time her eyes looked very young, and very old, and she said, because I was the third. She smiled, very small, very tired. And she does not remember me either. He went home. He did not tell Olivia. He cooked dinner. He poured her wine. He kissed the side of her neck when she stood at the sink, and she laughed, surprised, and said, "What's gotten into you?" And he said nothing, and they watched a movie neither of them was watching, and at some point she fell asleep with her head on his chest. He stayed awake. He listened to her breathing. He thought, I have loved you. I have. Whatever is left of that. I want to say it now because tomorrow I do not know who I will be. He did not say it. He put his hand on her hair. She slept. Thursday came gray and wet. Adam called Olivia at 4:11 in the afternoon. Ethan was in the kitchen. He heard her phone ring. He heard her voice catch. He heard her say, "I'm coming," and the chair scrape back, and her keys leave the bowl. "I'll come with you," he said. She turned in the doorway. The look on her face was something he had never seen before, startled, and afraid, and tender, all at once. "Ethan, no. I'm coming." "You don't." "I'm coming, Olivia." She looked at him for a long second, and something passed across her face like a shadow across water, and he wondered if, for a moment, she had remembered all 6 of the others, and he wondered if for a moment she had wanted to tell him. She didn't. She nodded. They went. Adam was in a parking garage on the west side. It was cold and the concrete smelled of oil and old water. There were footsteps on a level above them, and Ethan slid the coin into his cheek, and tasted the bronze of it, sour and metallic, and Olivia was already kneeling beside Adam, and Adam was bleeding from somewhere Ethan could not see, and there were 3 men coming down the ramp. "Olivia," Ethan said. She looked up. Her hand was on Adam's chest. The air around her had begun to do the thing, to thin, to shimmer at the edges, to pull inward like a held breath. "Don't," Ethan said. Her eyes widened. She knew. She knew he knew. The 3 men on the ramp turned the corner. The first one had a gun. The world began to fold. And Ethan stepped into it. He had never, before, moved against the grain of one of her folds. He had only ever been carried. Now he pushed. He pushed with the coin in his mouth and the list in his pocket and 20 years of her loving someone else burning in the back of his throat, and he pushed forward into the place she was pulling them all back from, and he reached past her, past Adam, past the gun, and he did the only thing on his list that he had not been able to plan around. He took the bullet. He did not feel it hit. He felt, instead, the fold close around the 3 of them, and the world go white, and the white go gray, and the gray go gentle, and somewhere at the bottom of all of it he tasted bronze and the inside of his own cheek and the small, sharp coin of his own held name. Ethan, he thought. Ethan. 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 The world reset. They were in the kitchen. Olivia was at the sink. The phone had not rung yet. She turned. She looked at him. Her face was wet. "Ethan," she whispered. "I'm here. You saw." "I saw." She put her hand over her mouth. Her shoulders shook, once, and she did not make a sound, and he watched her cry the way he had watched her cry on the couch the night he died for the first time and didn't know it. "How many?" he said quietly. She closed her eyes. 999, she said. This was the last one. I knew it. I felt it. The next one would have. I know. You weren't supposed to. I know, Olivia. She looked at him. Her eyes were the same age as her face for the first time in years. "What did you lose?" she said. "In the fold." "What did you pay?" He thought about it. He could not, for a moment, remember the name of the town on the beach in the photograph. He had not been able to remember it for months. He smiled. Nothing I hadn't already lost, he said. The phone rang. She looked at it. She did not pick it up. It rang. And rang. And went to voicemail. And the kitchen was very quiet. And the rain hit the window in slow, heavy strokes. And she stood in his shirt with her hair damp and looked at the man she had pulled through 999 versions of a Thursday in February. And Ethan stood at the table with his hands in his pockets, and he was, for the first time in 3 years, all the way inside his own body. Olivia, he said. Yes. I'm going to go. She nodded. She had known. She had probably known since the moment he stepped into the fold. I want you to be okay, he said. I will be. Adam. I'll tell him. She wiped her face. I'll tell him no more. I think the gift is gone, Ethan. I felt it leave when you stepped in. I don't think I can fold anymore. Good, he said. And he meant it. She crossed the kitchen. She put her hand on his cheek. Her thumb traced the line of his jaw the way it used to, before any of this, before the cinnamon candle and the cold coffee and the door that closed in 3 seconds. I did love you, she said. I want you to know that. Whatever else I did. I did. I know. She kissed his forehead. He left. He did not look back. He did not need to. The street outside smelled of wet pavement and someone burning leaves a block away, and the sky was that bruised color again, and somewhere a child was laughing, and somewhere a bus went past, and Ethan walked east toward a coffee shop he had walked past for 2 years and gone into once. Em was at the same table. She did not look up. You came out, she said. I came out. What did you keep? He sat down across from her. He thought about it. He thought about the photograph. The town. The beach. The taste of bronze. The smell of cinnamon. The shape of his own name in his own mouth. Enough, he said. Em smiled. She slid a cup of coffee across the table to him. It was warm. He drank it. He stayed there a long time. It was almost 2 years later that he met Lola Chantel. It was at a bookstore. It was raining. She was reaching for a book on a shelf above her head, the thin gray spine of something he had read in college, and he reached up and got it for her, and she smiled and said thanks, and he smiled and said you're welcome, and that was all. He saw her again 3 weeks later in the same bookstore. She remembered him. She said so. He liked, very much, the way she said I remember you. He had spent a long time in his life with a woman who could not. They had coffee. Then dinner. Then a Saturday afternoon walking through a farmer's market where she made him try a kind of cheese he had never heard of and laughed when he made a face. She had a laugh that did not arrive from anywhere far away. It came from inside her, and stayed where she was, and it was the most ordinary, most extraordinary thing he had ever heard. She asked him, eventually, about his marriage. It ended, he said. How? He thought about it. He thought about the kitchen with the cold coffee. He thought about Em's red ribbon and the bronze coin he had thrown into a river on the way home. He thought about Olivia's hand on his cheek and the photograph he could no longer place. I think, he said carefully, we loved different versions of each other. And eventually we couldn't find the ones we'd started with. Lola was quiet for a moment. The market smelled of basil and bread. That's a kind thing to say about it, she said. It's true. That doesn't make it not kind. He looked at her. She was pulling apart a piece of bread with her fingers. She had a small scar at the corner of her mouth he had not noticed before. He noticed it now. He thought, I am awake. He thought, I am awake and I am here and this is happening once. He took her hand. She let him. A year after that, on a Sunday in October, Ethan was in his own kitchen, a different kitchen, in a different building, with a window that looked out over a tree that had just started to turn, and he was making eggs. The radio was on. Lola was in the next room, on the phone with her sister, laughing about something he couldn't hear. The pan hissed. The light through the window was gold and clean, and it lay on the wood floor in long, soft rectangles. He had 2 cups out on the counter. He had filled them both. He picked up his. The coffee was hot. He stood at the window and drank it slowly, and watched a single yellow leaf come loose from the tree across the street and turn, very slowly, all the way to the ground. He felt, in his chest, the small ordinary weight of a moment that was only itself. Once. Only the one time. He smiled. He went to call Lola in for breakfast.